The only thing that kept the passenger trains running for the last several years was the mail contract. It was told to me one time that the railroad company got $400 a day for hauling the mail from Jackson, Tennessee to Grenada, and I think that's quite possible. We still had 25 and 26 were pulled off back in the early 30s, like 33. That left us with 23 and 24, 2 daylight trains. 23 came south at 10:15, went on to Canton. 24 came back north at 2 o'clock, went to Jackson, Tennessee. This all came to an end in 1939 when for a brief period we had a mixed train, and then we had no train. Well, it was bad, but it didn't bother some people. Some of the ladies up on Market Street were telling Miss Market, who was 90 years old and who's always lived in Water Valley, whose family had always worked on the railroad, and she was one of those people who assumed that the railroad was kind of like heaven, going to last forever. They said, Miss Market, aren't you disturbed about what's happening in the world today? This man Hitler is rampaging over in Europe, and the circumstances are getting pretty desperate and looks like we might get into the war. Are you afraid of this man Hitler? She says, honey, don't you worry about him. Says, he can't come to Water Valley. They have pulled off all the passenger trains. We got nothing to worry about. So that's the way people who lived here thought. The world revolved around the railroad and the passenger trains. And so if you pull them all off, you can't go anywhere, but neither can anybody come here to bother you. So Hitler would never make it to Water Valley. He didn't come, but the result of his rampaging in Europe caused a great increase in business, of course, during World War II when the army camps had to be serviced, and supplies and munitions and equipment and people had to be hauled up and down the railroad. And this is good for the business on the railroad and the families who depend upon it. And it goes along very well. The war terminates itself. We still have the strawberry business in the spring of the year. In the months of March, April, and May, we are still having some strawberry trains. Everybody's surprised. They come in 46. We keep hearing that they're trucking a lot of them, and some of them are going up the valley. But in 1946, we had 1 or 2 trains every day there for a couple of months. Maybe we even had 3 trains one morning. It's not like 29 and 30, the big years, when we had 5 and 6 trains a day. But business is still good from this particular perishable crop that has to be shipped north. But the last strawberry train of the year 1947 was the last of the strawberry trains. And it's kind of ironic. The great new train, the new streamlined train, the City of New Orleans, is put on the 17th of April in 1947. It takes the place of old 1 and 4. And the Illinois Central, in addition to having the beautiful streamlined Panama Limited, which they put on in 1942, they now have the City of New Orleans. And it runs from Chicago to New Orleans in 16 hours and 55 minutes at unheard of speed. It's a beautiful train of 13 to 15 cars, pulled by usually three E9 General Motors locomotives. And it's a very fine train, and it has good patronage. And everybody's real happy about it. The crews from Water Valley can now drive over to Batesville and catch these streamlined trains and go to Memphis to come out on some other train. It's very convenient with us here in Water Valley. The train crews and engine crews have always had to live in Memphis or go through devious means to get to Memphis on the trains to come out on their jobs out of Memphis. Most of them are still living here.